Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, massive changes coming to T-Mobile. This is going to impact people who want their home internet and more. We'll tell you what's happening there, as T-Mobile seems to be getting ready for massive changes under the hood and how you interact with them. Nexstar gives an update on its ban of Jimmy Kimmel, and it's probably going to be interesting. We'll see what they say there with that. Along with a second PBS station announced plans to shut down, joining the one in Pennsylvania. We'll tell you where it is, what's happening there. This is a big one. These stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second as we break down everything happening in the world of cord cutting. But if you want to read any of these stories, you can find a link to every story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment, where you can read them for yourself, come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button or hit that thumbs up. We cover the world of cord cutting, streaming, and more, trying to help you watch the shows you enjoy without breaking the bank. By hitting that subscribe button, by hitting that thumbs up, you let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. All right, let's dive into it. T-Mobile is going to be accelerating its digital overhaul. It wants to make pretty much everything you do with T-Mobile happen through its T-Life app. Now with this, according to documents posted on Reddit by a T-Mobile employee, and seemingly confirmed by multiple employees I've talked to now with this or seen online, that T-Mobile wants to basically make everything you do, from creating new accounts to making upgrades and changes to your lines, done on the app. They increasingly want people to stop calling them on the phone or going into stores. Those are expensive. This lines up with earlier reports that T-Mobile wanted to cut back on the number of physical stores it has to lower costs. Now with this, according to reports, about 50 to 70% of people currently have the ability to make many of these changes through the app. By the first quarter of 2026, they want that to be 100% of people able to go through the app to do everything they want to do. Now, that'll be a significant ramp up, especially with adding new lines and more, something traditionally you had to go into stores or call to do in the past. Now you can just be able to quickly do it in the app. Now, some employees I saw who talked about this on the Reddit post were concerned about increased fraud from this. We'll see how that plays out. But T-Mobile apparently really wants to cut back on physical representatives to help you and push more and more people to online apps to cut costs with that. We'll see how it plays out, but let me know. Does that change your view of T-Mobile? T-Mobile has become a big player in the world of cord cutting. Of course, T-Mobile's 5G home internet is widely popular. They're growing their fiber footprint out there to more and more places, and they're developing a larger and larger footprint out there. So we'll see how this happens. T-Mobile is a major player. Not only with all that, we get free streaming of things like Netflix and more from them. So let me know, are you a T-Mobile customer? Does it scare you to have everything go online? I'd love to hear from you. Nexstar is continuing to block Jimmy Kimmel Live. At the time of this recording, they released a statement out there that says Nexstar is continuing to evaluate the situation as Jimmy Kimmel Live on our ABC affiliate stations, and the show will be preempted while we do so. We are engaged in productive discussions with executives at the Walt Disney Company with a focus on ensuring the programming reflects the respect and diversity interests of our communities we serve. Be interesting to see what happens here. Remember, I talked about this earlier this week, that there's very different motives of what's happening here. Disney obviously does not want people canceling Disney Plus. So they wanted to get them back online after an effort to cancel Disney Plus. Local affiliates don't really care so much about that. They're worried about advertisers pulling advertising from the show and their networks. It's been, on the other side, a concerted effort to get advertisers to abandon Jimmy Kimmel in that time. And when these local stations heavily rely on advertising, you get difference of opinions. Be very interesting to see how this works out in the long run. It's widely suspected that we may be at a slight impasse here. Which side will blink? Will Nexstar declare blank, or will Disney blink with it? We'll see what happens. All right, a second PBS station is shutting down. In the Garden State, the WNET PBS, New Jersey Public Broadcasting Authority, has reached a deal and announced plans that by July 1st, 2026, they will cease operation in New Jersey. This is the second major PBS affiliate, including one in Pennsylvania, to announce shutdown that I know of. If you know of any other PBS stations shutting down, please leave me a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. but a growing concern over a number of PBS stations and NPR stations being forced to shut down. Now, the one in New Jersey does surprise me a little bit. I thought their donor base will help cover it, but apparently PBS's New Jersey funding was also cut recently, and the station's been running at a deficit for some time, and losing funding from the federal government was kind of the final nail in that, putting an end to it. We'll keep an eye on this, but I suspect that these two are just the first, and we'll see more PBS stations shut down in the weeks or months to come, or I should say announce plans to shut down in the weeks or months to come. All right, with this, NFL is reportedly looking to start their talks for new TV right packages early, as soon as next year. According to a report from CNBC, the NFL is looking to strike a deal with this and opt out early of the league's $111 billion TV right deal, which includes Disney, Comcast, NBC, Universal, Paramount, Amazon, and Fox, which allows their current contract allows them to opt out as soon as the 2029-2030 season. So they could start talks next year for new TV rights, but by but the current deal will run through the 2028-2029 season, or I should say 2029, or with that. The 2029-2030 would be the first time a new deal will be in place. A few things here. The NFL wants more money. They're looking at the hottest thing on television. Of the 100 most watched things on television last year, the vast majority of them were NFL games. They are the thing that's probably keeping pay TV alive, much more so than any other sport on the market. Because of that, they're looking for more money. Now, I do predict that we'll see a pretty similar deal to what we have now, though maybe some different players involved, with a mix of broadcast TV stations and streaming partners. Wouldn't surprise me to find that ESPN gets a bigger slice of NFL games, as the NFL is selling its NFL Network and NFL Red Zone to Disney's ESPN in exchange for a 10% ownership of ESPN. We'll see what happens here. I still maintain that the next one after this, sometime in late 2030s, we may see ESPN go 100% streaming. I don't think that they're going to do that as soon as this next deal. I do think the deal after that is very possible. As broadcast TV and other viewership continues to decline to become crazy expensive, at some point the NFL has the ability to say, why are we paying these middlemen or allowing them to get a cut of the profit? I know they're giving us, over $100 billion, but, we could keep everything. Why is ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, and, Amazon and others getting a cut of this deal when we could just get all the money ourselves? Keep an eye on this. I do expect that we'll probably see a bigger digital footprint for the next NFL TV rights deal. It'll be interesting to see if Fox, CBS, NBC, if any of them lose some of their television rights, see some cut back maybe. We'll see what it looks like. But big changes coming to the NFL. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Today in TV history, a couple big ones. 18 years ago this week, The Big Bang Theory first premiered, becoming a cultural phenomenon now on its second spin-off series. Anybody watch the new one on CBS? Is it any good? Let me know. Also, 32 years ago this week, we had another big one with this, as Boy Meets World first premiered on ABC 32 years ago on September 24th, 1993. Boy Meets World hit television and became a cultural phenomenon for many years. Had a short-lived revival. A lot of people said it was good. I didn't watch it. Let me know. Was it? Speaking of revivals, Barney is coming back. Are you ready for this one, folks? Barney's World will premiere on Prime Video in Canada and soon on Netflix as it expands around the world. In late October, the new animated series will reach out on Prime Video in Canada and Netflix in Canada later this month. Viewers in the U.S. can watch it on HBO Max. Barney is back. Are you going to let your kids or grandkids watch Barney? I thought we got away from that, but I don't know. I was never much of a Barney guy. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Interesting news here from News Nation. We've seen a growth and a massive change in news. Now, News Nation really pushed the fact that they have for 6 straight hours saw top ratings top MSNBC and CNN for 6 straight hours recently with this. But what I thought was interesting was how few people in total are watching this. CNN during those 6 hours had just 342,000 viewers on average. MSNBC averages 287,000 in the 1 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. Bracket on September 21st on Sunday. I know it's a Sunday, but I'm still kind of shocked at how few people are watching. News Nation, though, claimed a viewership of 615,000, more than double what MSNBC had on it. You know, I've talked a lot about the two main things that are keeping television alive, sports and news. News has been falling very rapidly as increasingly people are ditching paid cable news networks for free ones. Things like YouTube is a great example. Social media and some of these other networks out there that are more accessible, cheaply accessible, have been seeing growth impacting, I think, things like CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC. Does it surprise you? I know it was a Sunday, but still shockingly low. Leave a comment, let me know. Hey, we talked about this yesterday, but Disney's raising the price of all of its streaming services, almost, pretty much everything, from its live TV service to its Disney Plus and Hulu ad-supported. Well, Raymond has a great list here of a bunch of options you can do. If you're thinking about bailing on them, check it out. He's got a bunch of options. List in the show notes if you want to check out the full list with that. Hey, a few other quick stories. This one I thought was interesting. We're seeing a growth of AI. A new study, quarter report from Tom's Guide, says ChatGPT-5 is wrong about 1 in 4 times. It's a very interesting thing. But they argue that there's a problem with the training on it a little bit. I won't go into too much, but kind of one of those trust but verified. Anybody grew up in the 80s remembers that. Trust but verify. It's probably something with AI too. I really like how a lot of AIs will link to their sources when they give you answers. Make sure you're double checking it. I remember a lot in college, Wikipedia. Don't trust Wikipedia. But I always thought it was kind of cool. My professor said this. Yeah, go to Wikipedia, read it, but then go down to the sources and check out those sources. Make sure it lines up with what's actually being said, and then use those sources as cite instead of citing Wikipedia. I think that's kind of what we're seeing here in AI. Ask a question, but check its sources. And use AIs that easily link and show you what sources it's pulling from for its answers. Just a little pro tip there. Also, Best Buy is making some big changes. They are laying off a bunch of employees, another round of layoffs at Best Buy, but this time in the Geek Squad department. Now, increasingly, Geek Squad was very popular. My brother even worked there for a while after college, helping people fix computers. But the Geek Squad is seeing layoffs as increasingly people are looking at independent ones. And I think some of it is maybe people are just becoming a little bit better about repairing their stuff. Electronics are becoming cheaper. If your computer fails, if you and you can pick up a new computer for $200, why are you going to go spend the Geek Squad $200 or $300 to try to fix that computer with it? I think some of it is electronics are increasingly becoming disposable when it comes to cheap laptops, cheap tablets, televisions, right? Why am I paying a company to fix a television when I can just buy a brand new 50-inch TV for like $200 on sale at Walmart? And I think that's a big part of impacting here. But Best Buy laying off more employees, and it's Geek Squad. When's the last time you went to the Geek Squad for help? I had a printer fail recently. Didn't even bother to fix it. I had I had a washer last year. It was a very nice, we loved it, very nice Whirlpool washer. One day I was thinking we heard a big bang and a pop and a little sizzle. And we actually had to cut it open to get our clothes out. But I looked at getting it replaced, and the warranty had just expired on it, and the repair company wanted $300 to come and do it all, and it would have been like $380 with parts and labor and all that. And then I looked at Lowe's, and the newer version of the same model washer was only $450. And at that point, I was like, within $100, I'm just buying a new washer. Why try to fix something that obviously just had a major failure? The computer board blew on it, the power supply blew on it, and that's what went wrong. He wasn't sure if it was a surge that went into it, damaged it, not likely because he thought other things in the home would have been damaged or some type of error in the device. And I think that's what we're seeing is I just went with if you're going to charge me $300 some bucks to fix this, and it's less than $100 to get a brand new one, I'm getting the brand new one. Let me know if you're the same way. Have you seen that recently? Sometimes it's just cheaper now to replace it. So there we go. I talked too long on that. But that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all real soon.